Yeah, hella day, dude. So it all began. Oh no, 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 I'm supposed to start at the end. So at the end, I'm like, yeah, dude. But if you're forgiven, then you're perfect, right? And then so if you're forgiven, like last night, and then you're still perfect, but then you're claiming to be a sinner, then you're not even in touch with reality or whatever. You haven't come to terms with being forgiven. So you're not, you're not, you're not up to speed. Like, have you truly been forgiven? If you're not, you know, living as though you were forgiven. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and that came up because dude was like, yeah, nobody's perfect, blah 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 blah. Are you perfect? And I'm like, you know, I challenge anybody to convict me of sin. Because it's like boils down to it. It's like I'm fucking good at arguing, right? Because I know a lot of particulars and stuff in the Bible. It's not to say I know everything. It's not to say I'll win every argument, but it is to say that like you got to know, or you don't really need, but you got to know, you got to have that spirit of wisdom or whatever in order to outsmart me in most cases. Is what I'm saying. It's not even a bad thing. Like I'm down to be outsmarted all the time. It's great. I wish I could go through like an entire month and just be outsmarted every time at everything. Like being this idea of just somebody is like outsmart blam. It's like wow, sweet. You know, that would get me that would get me humble a little bit. But it's like yeah, like humble too, but at the same time you can't deny reality. So it's like if you're good at something and then you fail to recognize it, you're good at that thing, that's like disrespecting God who created you to do that thing. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, man, surreptitiously just fucking yourself by failing to recognize, by disrespecting the Most High who created you to do something. And you probably at least have an inkling, if you're in any way connected to the Bible or whatever, right, the God of the Bible, right? So this, even if you're an idolatrous dude, right, a Christian dude who fucking goes to church on fake Sabbath, on Pope Sabbath, and eats pork. Uh, Even if you're in that classification, you still can fulfill your role. Okay, you still can fulfill your role as to where you're supposed to be right now. Not everybody is supposed to be following the Torah right now, because if that were the case, then what's the whole point for recorrection? You know what I'm saying? The whole thing is, I mean, I could fucking expound, okay? But, like, Satan has legal justification or the legal right to operate in the world and do some crazy shit. And unfortunately, that's how it is right now. Okay. Shortly though, maybe in connection with the eclipse and stuff, he is, him and the third are gonna get cast down. It's gonna get fucking nuts down here, man. But anyway, so that's how it ended. Now, how it began 4 minutes in. How it began was woke up, like, okay, what should I do? Da 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 da. Call this dude at like 8:20. I'm like, hey man. Well, I get a voicemail. I'm like, hey man, just calling to see if I can get a ride. Y'all are probably starting pretty soon or whatever, but just calling. Of course, so the Jews. This is the Chabad. The Jews overlooked it. God blinded me to the fact that they don't even look at cell phones or whatever. But it's like, if you want to associate with the nations, if you want to be a light to the nations, then you got to be able to meet them someplace in the middle. So if they're gonna text you or whatever, like you got to assign somebody at least to have the duty of being responsible for replying to the texts. In a reasonable manner, a godly manner, even. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, or voicemails or whatever. Answer the phone. That would be a good start. Anyway, so basically what happens is I get there, 2.5 fucking hour walk. Uh, I get there and put my phone on silent and shit, and then walk in, look at the literature and the stuff on the walls and stuff. Old lady comes in behind me. Oh, a minute later, 45 seconds later. So hey, what are you doing? I'm like, hey, I've never been to a synagogue before. I'm just first time here. Da 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 da. A couple minutes later, dude comes out. Lloyd. Lloyd says, hey man, what's up? Ask me some questions. I answer the questions. Are you Jewish? That's the main question. And it's like, dude, man, no, I'm not Jewish. Like, my mom's not Jewish. I mean, that's what I should say. I should just say my mom's not technically Jewish. You know what I'm saying? Even though my mom probably is technically Jewish, I still have the non-practicing whatchamacallit when for 2 generations or something like that. Anyway, no, I'm not Jewish. But Lord was like, man, blam, what do you got in your backpack? No bombs or nothing? Got any weapons? I'm like, I got 11 in. He's like, okay, you're not worried about that. Takes me back. Everything's in Hebrew, da 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 da, super cool, like as far as what do they call it? Holy tongue or holy language. What do they call it? Anyway, but they got a obviously in Hebrew they call it holy language in Hebrew. Anyway, so doing that, he sets me up in the back and gets like 3, 4, 5 books out, flips it open. This is about where we're at. Da 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 da. I'm getting ready to follow along. I'm on my head like you got a rhythm. This is going, and then Lloyd's like, "Hey man, the rabbi wants to go search your bag," and I'm like, "Okay, whatever. I don't give a shit." So march out. Da, da, da. Oh yeah, important point. I didn't take off my first sweatshirt or whatever, right? And thereby reveal that I've got zits on, or zitiot. I didn't do that. I was about to, and guys was like, leave that on. And so I left it on. Now, so they couldn't see my zitiot, which may have swayed them somewhat, right? But I got a head covering, and so that's half the battle. Anyway, so White sets me up, and Rabbi, da, 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 search your bag. Introduces himself. Hey, I'm so and so, assistant rabbi traveling, but I'm not actually stationed here. Da 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 da. Or I'm not, permanently here. It's a traveling one. And he says, pretty much unsure. Is there anything in your bag? Blah, 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 looks at the bag. Da, 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 smoking stuff, or some weed stuff. He says, okay, I can't leave this out here because children. Da 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 da. I'm like, okay, man. He says, well, we can't bring it inside. And then rather than say you got a closet or something, because that's up to him, right? It's up to him to figure that out. Rather than say, hey, you got a closet, say, okay, well, you want me to leave him? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, can I go grab my stuff? He's like, yeah. All right, so I go over there because I shook his hand. He wanted to shake my. For some reason, these motherfuckers want to shake your hand. You know what I'm saying? I'm starting to be like, maybe I shouldn't fucking shake anybody's hands. You know what I'm saying? Because every fucking time they want to shake your hand, and it's like a fucking mystical fucking. There's some kind of obviously you're in some kind of agreement or whatever. But fucking man, fucking probably don't shake fucking hands. Anyway, shake the dude's hand. So I cleaned off my fucking hand before I handled my stuff. Pull out my bottle, spray, wipe off my hand, get myself together, grab my shit, go outside. They're like, oh, I'm so glad you understand. I'm like, yeah, man, totally understand. You guys are just like Abraham. Like, what? I'm like, yeah, dude, this is exactly like Abraham, man. You guys are like so kind so kind and welcoming, just like Abraham. And then Bland just walked out the door, and it's like, man, you know what? It's like, it's true though. It's totally fucking true. Anyway, so I did that. Then I walked over to fucking Bates something or other down there, right next to the Learning Center, south of Winco, and I'm like, uh, see some inscriptions on their walls and take some pictures. Well, I get ready to take some pictures. Resolve to take some pictures. Dude pops out, says, "Hey man, what are you doing?" I'm like, hey man, just looking for, Sabbath, da 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 da. He's like, oh yeah, we're done. And pretty much just like didn't say anything else. So I'm like, okay, fuck that guy. I'm gonna just go take some pictures. He's learned something, right? So they got a timeline on the back. I mean, on the bricks and da 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 da. Take some pictures. I leave, and then end up at Bait Hell Up. I end up there, and man, I mean, not really gonna elaborate, but it's like it's a fucking struggle, and it's like, man, the whole point of going to the Chabad deal was see if these guys can take on fucking 10 people from the nations, grab it onto their ZCO. You know what I'm saying? And no, they can't. They're fucking scared as fuck, man. That's the thing, dude. Fear, man. Fear. Now, in the presence of fear, love doesn't exist. Faith doesn't exist. So you can't be faithful and fearful at the same time. You can't be loving and fearful at the same time to the same person. You can't love somebody and fear them at the same time. Okay, if you fear them, you don't love them. You hate them. You reject them, and you fear them. If you uh, fear somebody, uh, you don't have faith, unless God has warned you about that person or something like that, and you can connect it to something in your relationship with God. Uh, Otherwise, it's a key off or whatever that you do not have faith. If you had faith, you wouldn't be fearful, right? You know, Torah says it's definitely commanded. Fear not, like it's definitely in there. So it's like, are you supposed to fear? Nope. You got the most badass, big bald, fucking chieftain that ever fucking existed. Fuck yeah, yeah. That's what you got. You got the mighty man that nobody can fucking outsmart. Nobody can fucking beat in a straight up fight. Nobody can beat, even if they fucking cheat. You know what I'm saying? So that's your boss. If that's your boss and he's got fucking command and he's got these fucking assholes outnumbered 2 to 1, what the fuck are you afraid for? You know what I'm saying? It's like the only reason, rationally, the only explanation is that you don't believe that God is gonna step in and save you. You don't believe that you deserve God to step in and save you. You know what I'm saying? Worried about a fucking bomb or something from some fucking Jesus Christ, man. Now granted, I mean, I'll give him a little bit. Like, yeah, you should do some caution, being in a state of war and stuff, right? But at the same time, reasonable suspicion, probable cause, and just like determination by one dude, and it's like, man, what the fuck? Why don't they have the bait in or the minion motherfucking talk about this real quick? You know what I'm saying? Interrupt the service with a special announcement. You got a newcomer, da 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 da, who wants to ask him questions. You got 10 guys and you examine the newcomer, and it's like that's how it should be. You should be welcoming, examine them, check them out, assign them to some position, and give them restrictions based on what you know, what you find out. So that's all to say. Basically, like, yeah, what a day, what a day. And so the eclipse is gonna happen pretty soon, right? I'm still praying for the invasion of Jerusalem because that's what that's how it's prophesied that the Jews repent. Jews have to repent. For some reason, Jerusalem has to be fucking sacked in order for them to repent. Um, Fuck this cigarette tobacco, man. Um, so yeah, Jerusalem has to be sacked. 2/3, Zechariah and stuff. Damn. Yeah, 2/3, Zechariah and stuff, man. And it has to happen, and it has to happen quick, dude. Like soon, man. And then cast down, dude. Outnumbered fucking infinitely, right? Because it's gonna be only good guys up top, right? With only good guys up top, dude, crazy fucking mystical shit's gonna happen. But we're gonna have to contend There's some crazy bad shit down here. That's why, it's like give and take. Uh, so the main thing is to simplify the gospel. Okay, that means the teaching. Okay, the Torah. Gospel means Torah. Simplify the Torah so that the nations see, oh wow, this is actually really wise stuff. It's almost like God wrote this shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's the job. And this is the time. And it's like simplify, man. We don't even have to expound and go fucking deep dive and shit. Like, yeah, that's nice. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or whatever. We need to be simplified right now. You know what I'm saying? Get simplified. Get these guys convinced. Get your fucking reasons all laid out. Get these guys at synagogue on Sabbath, and get them praying to the Most High, and get them, you got problems with fucking strapping boxes or whatever to your head and arm. It's like, man, it's like, what does it actually mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, dude. And so, fuck. Anyway, that's about that. And so, yep, that's about that. Um, it's a fucking day, and shit's gonna fucking happen real fucking soon. And